Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I welcome all of you to His Holiness Candramauli Swami daily class. And today Maharaj will continue on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 8, verse 10 and onwards. Hare Krishna, Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Remote glories, Prabhupada. Jai Ho.
So with your permission, Maharaj, I will share the screen with 2.8.10.
You always have my permission.
Thank you, Maharaj. Over to you.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sachapi Yatra Purusho Vishwastiruba Vapyayaha Mukvatma Mayam Mayesa Sete Sarva Guhasayaha. Translation. Please also explain the personality of Godhead who lies in everyone's heart as Supersoul and as the Lord of all energies, but is untouched by his external energy. Purport. Undoubtedly, the form of the Lord, who is seen by Brahma, must be transcendental. Otherwise, how could he simply look upon the creative energy without being touched? It is understood also that the same Purusha lies in the heart of every living entity. This also requires proper explanation. Verse number 11. Purushasva vayar lokah sapala purukalpitaha lokar amusya vayava sapalar iti shuksruma. Translation. O learned Brahmana, it was formerly explained that all the planets of the universe with their respective governors are situated in different parts of the gigantic body of the Virat Purush. I have also heard that the different planetary systems are supposed to be in the gigantic body of the Virat Purush. But what is their actual position? Will you please explain that? Text 12. Yadvan kalpa vikalpo vahayata kalo numiyate bhuta bhavya bhavach chabda ayurmana chayat sataha. Also, please explain the duration of time between creation and annihilation, and all of the other subsidiary creations, as well as the nature of time, indicated by the sound of past, present, and future. Also, please explain the duration and measurement of life of the different living entities known as the demigods, the humans, etc., in different planets of the universe. Purport. Past, present, and future are different features of time to indicate the duration of time for the universe in all its paraphernalia, including the different living beings in different planets. Om Gyan Timirandasya Gyanajana Salakaya Chaksun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Staptitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadam Mayam Dadanti Swam Padantikam Ma Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimakte Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvase Sasunyavadi Pastyatya De Satarine Vanchakalpa Tarubhischa Kripa Sindhu Paevacha Patitaram Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So in these series of verses, we hear that Maharaj Parikshit is very inquisitive. He's taken advantage of a person who knows the answers to all questions. And therefore, he wants to know as much as possible about everything related to spiritual life, even to how the material arrangements are carried on, even what is the relationship between the material energy and the supreme source of the material energy, the supreme personality of Godhead. Wants to know about all living beings, durations of life, planetary structures, one question after another. He knows all of these answers will be given to him by the perfect source, who is self-realized soul, but not only a self-realized soul, but is an intimate associate of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sukadev Goswami. Here he's asking about time, and he mentions how time is indicated, past, present, and future. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, I am time. Time and me are not different. But then how can you say that Krishna is time? Because time is changing and Krishna doesn't change. But Krishna has two features, and that is his personal feature and his impersonal feature. Time is his impersonal feature, which is a particular energy that moves things. Everything is moved by time. The material world, everything is influenced by time. Time is the force that brings things about, moves things along, helps things to develop, manifests things within the situation, and then gradually starts to change everything. And then whatever element that is, everything is subject to disappearance in due course of time. There's nothing in this world that will stand the test of time. Time is Krishna to bring about change, because the nature of the material world is change. The nature of the spiritual realm is nothing changes. Everything is understood within its existence, and everything becomes more and more within its own existence, becoming more and more greater and more uh, powerful, you might say. But in the material world, this is the world of duality. So people get really overwhelmed when someone dies. Of course, that overwhelming is natural, because if someone is related to you when they die, you feel a loss, you feel unhappiness, you feel a loved one or someone close to you is no longer there. So a personal feeling of loss is there, but this process of death is inevitable. So one should also understand that no one can live in this world permanently. And as Prabhupada would say, whether you die today, or you die tomorrow, or you die 20 years from now, still death is there. So, of course, people think, well, everyone should have a long duration of life. But that's not the case, because everyone is under the influence of the time factor. And the time factor is an element of karma. which is placed upon the living being due to their activities in the material world. So karma and time are very much intricately related. You perform an activity, you get a result, and that result is also under the subject of time, along with the ingredients that makes up the result, along with the performer of the activity, the person. So time is there. Sometimes we try to describe what is time. Time is inexhaustible. It just keeps going. It doesn't stop. Time is immovable. Nothing can change the force of time. Time is all powerful because it is an energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And as long as the material existence is in effect, time is eternal. One sense, time is also eternal because the material elements, or the material manifestations of the elements, that is the creation, comes and goes. The different manifestations are temporary, but the process of creation, duration, and annihilation is eternal. So therefore, time in the material world is also eternal because it is the element of creation. And so therefore, in relationship to our life in this world, we see the time factor as either something beneficial or something that is very much fearful. We fear time because we want to live long, but we can't live beyond a certain point. We want to live forever. Because we are eternal, we don't die, and therefore, for the end of the body to come is natural, but the end of the person to come is unnatural because it doesn't happen. The soul, which is the person, never dies or is never born. It just moves from place to place. But the process of the body will always die, and therefore, as long as we identify with the body, there is the fear of time. When there is no identification with the body, the fear of time is actually no longer there, but time becomes the friend of the living entity, moving them closer to eternal life when they are engaged in devotional service. For the non-devotees, it says that time is very fearful. They race against time. Sometimes they even say that we race against time to try to accomplish what we want in this life because they know that time will take everything away. So there's this fear of time and racing against time. But time cannot be changed because time is Krishna in the form of the immaterial movements. But for a devotee, it's not the same. So therefore it says, for non-devotee, the non-devotee doesn't want to hear about death, but for a devotee likes to hear about death because they know that they should prepare themselves for this time by becoming fully Krishna conscious. And then, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Yam yam vapi smaram bhavam taktva and ante kalevram tam tam evaiti kontaya sadata bhava bhavitaha. Whatever you think of me at the time of death, whatever you think of at the time of death, that's where you go. If you worship the demigods, you'll go to the demigods. If you worship ghosts and spirits, you'll take birth against such beings. If you worship the ancestors, then you'll go to the planet of the ancestors. And if you worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you'll attain eternal life in the spiritual world. So we have to see that time is important. Srila Prabhupada would make a little experiment sometime in some of his lectures. He would be sitting there giving a lecture, then he would stop. And he'd say, now it's 7:25 a.m., December 14th, 1974. And then he would wait a minute. And then he would say, now it's 7:26 a.m., 1974, December. So where is 7:25, December 1974? Gone. He would say, you may be the wealthiest person in the world, but you can't buy back that minute. Not possible. So Prabhupada, along with his spiritual master, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, said, time is precious. Sometimes they say time is valuable, but there are many things that are valuable, but time is precious. To you to be able to see how much time, of course, nobody knows how much time we have. We have this feeling that we're going to live forever in this material world, and death doesn't happen to me, it happens to somebody else. Everybody else dies, but not me, because I don't want to die. Therefore, I've created this mentality in my mind that I don't die. But this is a false type of security. It's like sticking your head in a hole and thinking there's no danger around because you can't see any of it. The danger lurks everywhere, but if you don't see it, you think it's not there. But actually, time is there everywhere, and time is moving things along. So to use whatever time we have, of course, we don't know how much, but we should never think, just like it says, there are two things you should always remember and two things you should always forget. This is coming from the the sages in the saints, the sages in the Sri Sampradaya. This is one of their terminologies. Two things you should always forget. You should forget all of the bad things that people have done to you. And you should forget all of the good things you have done for others. Why? Because if you forget all of the bad things that others do, you can live happily. You can go on in life. You tolerate whatever happens and you just somehow move on in life. If you hold negativity towards anyone who's done something wrong to you, your life becomes miserable. You can't actually live life happily by that negative attitude. And you can't really chant the holy name either properly. And if you forget all the good things you've done to others, then you get free from false pride. You get free from the misconception that I'm the doer and I've done this thing, therefore I'm a wonderful person, therefore everyone should be everyone should be thankful for whatever I've done. This is another default that comes in the process of advancement in devotional service. Devotee is humble, never takes credit for whatever they do. They give credit to the spiritual master, they give credit to Krishna, they give credit to the assembly of Vaishnavas. And therefore they live happily without any false idea that I'm such a wonderful person. And if that type of pride makes it very hard for them to practice devotional service. And if it continues, then Krishna will smash that pride and people will have a very unpleasant experience as they wake up to the reality of their illusion, wake up from the reality of their illusion. So then there's two things you should always remember. You should always remember the holy name, which is Krishna in this age, which is manifested as the Yuga Dharma, the means for self-realization. One should chant Satatam Kirtayantam. One should chant always, 24 hours a day, so many rounds on beads and the rest of the rounds off the beads. Always chanting, always chanting. Therefore, one is always connected with Krishna in devotional service. One is happy, one is free from all of the anxieties that come by living in the material world. And one is directed in the right way in their devotional service. and one can also help others. And another thing you should always remember is that death can happen at any moment. Just like we see, it's unfortunate, but these things happen. All of a sudden, so many so many people got on this plane just recently in Ahmedabad. Everyone's thinking, I'm going to go home or I'm going to go meet my friends and relatives in the UK, in London. No one was thinking that the plane is going to crash. Nobody. No, they wouldn't get on the plane if they thought like that. Everyone's thinking now, yes, we take a plane, planes fly, that's the way it goes. But somehow something was different. And all of a sudden, death is there. So death sometimes doesn't give a warning. It just appears all of a sudden. And then one is in a very, uh, let's see, what's the word? Situation that was never even preconceived prior. And all of a sudden, life stops in the material world. Life doesn't stop, but it stops in that particular. So this is death. Death gives no warning. There's a nice little parable about death. There's one village. This is a little anecdote story. One little village. There were there were many people in the village. Actually, it was a small town. It wasn't a village. So there were tens and thousands of people there. So one day, one of the men in the town was walking along, and he noticed at the edge of town there was a very strange looking person standing there, very tall, dressed in black. And he had never seen anything like it before. So he got really curious. He started walking toward the man, and he came up to him and he said, "Who are you?" The man, in a very grave way, said, "I am Death. I've come to this town, and within the next month, I will take 500 people from this town." So the man is shocked. He hears from death directly, 500 people will die within the next month. So he's alarmed. But what does he do? He goes out and starts telling everyone this is the situation. He tells as many people as he can. And by what he's doing, he's spreading fear in the town. And so after 1 month, not 500 people died, but 5,000 people died in that town. So the same man, he's okay. He's living. He goes back and he notices Death is still standing at the edge of town. So he said, "You told me you were going to take 500, but you took 5,000. I said, "Yes, I took 500 and fear took the other 4,500. So the fear of death is can cause one to become sick mentally, physically, and develop despondency. So one should not fear death, but one should fear that I don't want to lose any time in life. Therefore, let me use my time, whatever is left, to become fully Krishna conscious. Therefore, when my time comes, I'll be able to go back home, back to Godhead. My life will be perfect. Then I won't have to take birth again in this fearful material existence. So we shouldn't fear death, but we should fear wasting the time of our life in things that are just what we say unnecessary. One of the things in life that makes life what we say successful is to discriminate what is important in life and what is not important. To go through our life and see what things we can eliminate that are just unnecessary wastes of time, and to bring about more things that will be beneficial to our progress in spiritual life. So a devotee thinks like that. I don't want to waste any time in wasting doing things like that. The perfect example was Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada knew he didn't have much time left, and he wanted to spread the movement as fast as he could because he knew he had to establish his movement before he left. Otherwise, the movement would not continue after he left. So when Prabhupada had his third heart attack in 1967 in America, he prayed sincerely. He recovered from it. He prayed sincerely to the Lord, my Lord, dear Lord, my mission has not even begun. Please give me more time. He prayed sincerely, and Krishna gave him 10 more years. And then during those 10 years, of course, he established the foundation for a worldwide movement, which is going on today. So when you get old, and sometimes what is old? Prahlad Maharaj, he was speaking to his schoolmates. What was he saying? He was preaching to them, take up Krishna consciousness. They're boys of 5, 6, 7 years old. They were his schoolmates. And they were listening to Prahlad. They liked what he said. But then they said, well, Prahlad, we're young. We're young, We'll take up Krishna consciousness when we get old, not now. And Prahlad, after listening to their responses, he said, old means just before you die, and no one knows when they're going to die. So who is young and who is old? We have examples in life that even a very young person is gone after a few years of life. So who is young and who is old? No one knows. So therefore, one should be very serious in using their time in the best possible way to become Krishna conscious. And that's good. Therefore, one should develop a fear, not of death, but of wasting time. Because, as it says, money is valuable, but time is precious. Money, you can spend it, and you can also regain it, but time goes in one direction, and you can't reverse the force of time. But in the spiritual world, there's no time because time is not needed in the spiritual world because everything exists eternally within its pure spiritual existence. But in the material world, this is a place of temporality. We have to understand everything in this world is temporary. And therefore, we are not temporary. We are eternal. We are different in this world. We are placed in this world because we developed the mentality of temporality. And now we're trying to function within that realm by trying to find happiness within the realm of temporality, which is not existent. Because even if there is some happiness that is secured materially, the time element is always there. So therefore, this time factor is a very important part of understanding how to make progress in devotional service. Bhakti Tirtha Swami, he came down with melanoma cancer, and he knew he had very little time to leave. So he wrote one book, which was called Beggar Number 4, the series. And then at Beggar Number 4, it was called Die Before Dying. Die to those things that cause you to die. That way, when you die, you don't die. What are those things that are causing us to die? The attachments to the material world. As long as we have material attachments, those things will cause us unhappiness when we lose them. So one should be detached from everything in this world and be attached to Krishna. One may use things in this world, just like we use things. There's certain things we use, but we're not attached to them. We might be attached to certain things, and other things we're not. Just like when if you have uh, a piece of furniture and somehow it gets damaged and then breaks down, you just get rid of it and you get another one. So you don't suffer so much, hardly at all, when you lose something that appears to be ordinary in this world. But then there's other things that we get attached to that become very strong in our life. And we have a fear of losing them. But that fear only creates a type of anxiety in our life, which will only grow more and more. So detach yourself from everything and everyone in a way that you develop the relationships based on spiritual relationships. In other words, devotees get attached to each other because we are all understanding that we are not this body. We're attached to that person because we've developed relationships. And therefore, our relationship with that soul is eternal. When we leave the body and go back to the spiritual world, they leave the body and go back to the spiritual world. We will recognize them as our friend in the material world again. Our father, our mother, whatever life we were in, we will understand those souls that we were with in the material world are now with us again in the spiritual world eternally. So, and as Prabhupada says, I'm welcoming all of my devotees to come back and we'll be back together as a spiritual family in the spiritual world. So you'll recognize Prabhupada, he'll be there. Everybody who's already died will be already, who's made it to the spiritual world will also be there. So on the spiritual platform, there's no loss. On the material platform, there's really no gain. So live in such a way as to use everything in the best possible way. Do your best to live in the utmost perfection of life. Whatever you do everything nicely, with attention, with quality, but understand everything is temporary. Because you can use whatever you have in this life to serve Krishna. And that element, that person, that situation becomes a source of elevation of our consciousness, which will bring us back to the spiritual world. Everything in this material world belongs to Krishna. Nothing belongs to us, not even our very body, not even ours. It's been given to us for use, and it will also be taken away in due course of time. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj, for enlightening us in terms of criticality and preciousness of time, and especially two things which every devotee should forget and two things which they should never forget. Um, Hare Krishna, dear devotees, if you have any questions, comments, corrections, please, or any relations, please raise your hand. Also, if you are not able to ask question, you can type in chat window. Also request devotee, if you can please switch on your video. Uh, Remember the criticality of the time. This time will not come again to see and have association with Maharaj. Hare Krishna. So Maharaj, by the time devotee, uh,
Give him a chance. Somebody will come up. Just
yeah.
give him a minute. Let's see who comes. Well, these are thinking.
I will ask a question, Maharaj, by the time devotee warms up. Uh, uh, See, we understand, Maharaj, that when it comes to our relationship with any living entity here in this world, that this is temporary. They are going to leave us at some point of time. We should not have any expectations. We should not have any attachment because this is temporary. But when somebody lose their very near dear one, how to convince? Because we are human being and emotional bonding is definitely there. Because without emotions, this body is not good to have. I remember that example when you mentioned when somebody asked, I think it was Prabhupada or one Maharaj, that I'm ready to take sannyas. My wife died and could not even cry. And then I think Maharaj said that you should marry again because if you are so, you don't have emotions for body in that way, how you will cry for Krishna. So,
Mhm.
how to have this balance?
Well, it's understood that one can grieve and, what do we say, even cry for the loss of someone, but one should not stay in that consciousness. One should go through that transition stage and come out of it. The initial effect will bring about that feeling of loss and unhappiness and even sadness and even personal loss. But don't stay in it. That's not that's normal. We talk about this, we discuss this when people go through, but there's people who hang on to that loss for years and they can't function. Therefore, that will be counterproductive. Therefore, go through the sadness, the loss, the emotions. But how long? Well, that might be different from person to person, but it's not something that should carry on any length of time. You have to move on in life. So these things are there. We can't say don't grieve. No, that's natural. Even devotees grieve for the loss of other devotees, but we don't stay there. We move on after some time. There's actually I don't know it, but there's actually a process by which you go through different stages when someone really dear to you is lost. And then you move through different emotional periods, and then ultimately you come out of it. There's people who can walk you through these different things. They're expert. They have some understanding in how to accept it and how to accept it, deal with it, and then move on in life. Okay. To say that, there's no, you shouldn't grieve at all is pretty much unnatural.
Thank you, Maharaj. This is very, very important. Really helps a lot.
Yeah, but if we stay there, like I know people 10, 20 years, they're still carrying that loss within them. And it makes it hard for them to do anything in their own life because it becomes a burden on their heart, on their mind, and a burden on the heart. We should think if that person is a devotee, they're in a better position than they were when they were with me in this world. Now they're in better position. So we should also feel happy maybe for that person, that soul now is in a higher realm, maybe back to Godhead, maybe with Krishna on another planet, or maybe in another body where they're engaged in devotional service.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you very much. Uh, Shri Devi Mataji, please go ahead.
Sri Devi, you're traveling, huh?
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Sorry, Mataji, your voice is echoing. Maybe somebody else is there.
Haribol, can you hear me now?
Yes, better, Mataji. Thank you.
Okay.
Keep your camera off. Keep your camera off.
Mataji, you're on mute now.
Hare Krishna, can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yes, Mataji.
keep your camera
Oh,
off.
sorry about that echo. I apologize. Please accept my humble obeisances, Maharaj. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Yes, we are traveling. Kalyan Prabhu and Ranjan Prabhu are with me. They wanted to listen to the class too. So we all three listening to the class. I was thinking, Maharaj, about the time element and also how much we are attached to things of this world, especially money. When we are very aware of money, where did I lose, where did I gain, all the time that is on our minds. But how time is going, we are not so cognizant of that. If we reverse that and paid more attention to how our time is going, then maybe we would pay more attention to making spiritual progress. So, how to reverse this concentration on things of this world and focus more on how our time is going?
Mhm. I just gave the formula. Money comes, money goes. Time just goes. You can be rich, and then you can be poor, and then you can be rich again, materially. It's all based on your karma and your, what we say, focus in life. So time is precious. Time is Krishna. Krishna says, Mitra Sarva Harasya Aham. I am time. In the form of death, he says. Time is there. But unless we really value our spiritual life more than our material life, we will put money ahead of time. Yeah, keep your camera off. Otherwise, you're always on, you're going to be muted all the time. You're on mute again. Don't put your camera on.
I think Prabhuji is trying to manage that. Yes, Mataji, but you are still on
Point.
mute.
Now
Yeah,
you're on.
I got the point that if we valued our spiritual life, we would become very cognizant of time and how it is going. That awareness that time is fleeting, death is inevitable, it is coming, any moment it can come, will make us speed up our spiritual life and focus less on temporary things of this material world. Thank you very much for that. Hare Krishna.
I can tell you how you can increase your time also.
Yes.
You want to hear?
Yes.
Don't sleep so much.
Ah.
Don't eat so much. The less you eat, the less you'll sleep, at least up to a certain point. Don't go too low in your eating,
Right.
because sleeping is connected to eating directly. If you eat a lot, you'll sleep more. If you eat under, you'll also sleep more because you'll feel weak. So
Right.
balance your eating out very nicely, and then you can balance your sleeping very nicely, and you won't sleep much. Prabhupada said maximum 6 hours.
Right. Yes. Yes. This is a very important instruction for me, Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for giving me this instruction. Thank you. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji. Thank you. Vinayak Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my obeisances.
Again, Prabhu, sorry, it's echoing.
One second.
Keep your camera off when that happens.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, am I audible?
But speak slowly. I can't understand what you're saying. I can hear you, but I can't understand it.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances.
Prabhu, can you speak a bit loudly because your voice is very feeble?
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, am I audible?
It's there, but still it's not of very good quality, but we'll try, Prabhu.
Slowly.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, am I audible?
Yeah, speak. Go ahead. Ask the question.
Yes, Maharaj. Before now I am in Grihastha, but before I am in Grihastha, I am living in ISKCON base. In there,
Sorry, Prabhu. Sorry, Prabhu.
we
Sorry to
can't-
interrupt, but your
we
voice
can't-
completely breaking and
checking.
unable to hear. Maybe if you can type your question in chat window, and then maybe that might be helpful. At least just.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, you can keep your camera off. That probably will help. Try again. Okay. Okay, let's go on.
Yeah, Rishabh Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances to Srila Prabhupada. Do you hear me?
Clearly.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, devotees and Sri Guru Maharaj. I have a question. Today we had a class, and it was mentioned that there is two kinds of Shraddha, a Lokara Shraddha and Shastra Shraddha. Jiva Goswami is writing that if a devotee was learning how to practice devotional service through other devotees, then he got Lokara Shraddha from other devotees. But this Shraddha on devotional path is really unstable. Then it was mentioned that actually we have to develop Shastra Shraddha, and we have to find all the references of all these things that we are practicing in the Shastra, and then it's transcendental. And actually, the person who has Shastra Shraddha doesn't fall down. If you can maybe elaborate on this, I find it a really interesting point.
Well, I guess you got the elaboration in class, right?
Just shortly, but I think first time I heard it, and it really sounds logical, and I never heard it before. But
well, where does Loka Shraddha come from? It comes from Shastra Shraddha. So all Shraddha comes from Shastra, from Guru. These are the foundations for Shraddha. Guru is non-different than Shastra because Guru is walking Shastra. Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. There's two Bhagavats, Guru and Shastra. Both are absolute in the principle of giving knowledge. So when you get knowledge from Guru or Shastra, that is Shastra Shraddha, which is foundational. It is given in its pure form. Loka Shraddha may also be explained, but not in the purest form. It also may be communicated through other devotees by their own experiences, which may not be the same as your experiences. So it's a little less pure when you get Loka Shraddha. When you get Shastra Shraddha, it's pure. Therefore, a devotee is called, what is that term? Shastra Chakshush. Chakshush means eyes or seeing. So Shastra Shraddha is that knowledge where you get directly from the scriptures. So when you see life through that knowledge, you're seeing life the way it is. And nothing less. It's called Shastra, what is it? Chakshu, Shastra Chakshus. Chakshus means to see through the eyes of Krishna, through the eyes of the pure devotees.
I guess this is why important that we have to really scrutinizely study Prabhupada's books and develop this Shastra Shraddha to reference ourselves constantly. But maybe some of us, maybe they are not able to do that. So is it listening to the spiritual master would be enough for them?
If they're not able to do it for whatever reason, then yeah. Hearing from the perfect source is the process of bhakti.
Okay, that's
The word, the word Upanishads means to sit down near who? Guru, and get that knowledge. So the Upanishads are the Shrutis, the essence of the Vedas. That's communicated from guru to disciple. Both have to be qualified in order for the communication to be pure or perfect.
Thank you, Maharaj. Much to develop in this regard. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rishabh. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Vinay, Prabhu, you are back. Yes. You can unmute yourself.
Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you, Maharaj. Maharaj, now I am in Gruhastha, but before 2 years back, I am living in ISKCON base. But there I am, my time is actually proper engaged in Krishna conscious and fully engaged in Krishna conscious activities. But now I am in a schedule like that, according to
Welcome to Grihastha life.
yes, Maharaj. So 12 hours job, working duty, then 6-7 hours sleeping, then rest of the time. It is not. I think it is not sufficient for me actually. And I want to more Krishna conscious activities, but in Gruhastha, but I think it is very less for me to engage. Then I think whether I leave just my working duty and fully engage in a nearest ISKCON temple, or how to manage actually. I think it will be very less for me actually.
Well, initially, when people get married, all of a sudden they have to build their Grihastha ashram, and then the time is focused on making financial gain, establishing a place to live, eventually bringing in children. So all of these things are part of Grihastha life. So to learn how to spiritualize all of these activities is the process of not wasting time. But how to spiritualize, that takes time. Therefore, when we're in contact with the material energy, we're definitely going to be more or less focused on how to use that material energy to get what we want in life. So your time is going to be marginalized. It's going to be reduced. But once you establish your Grihastha life in a more simple way, don't get too, what we say, attached to the comforts and the luxuries that may come with Grihastha life. Live simply and just take and make what is necessary for keeping body and soul together. So we say simple living, high thinking.
Yes, Maharaj.
Yeah, so you have to use your time wisely. You have to be a good time manager. To live in Grihastha life means to take lessons in time managing. There's books on that, how to manage time, how to perfect your time so you can maximize your time. Time is relative. 10 different people can have the same amount of time and they still can get 10 different amounts of work done, even though they're doing the same activity. It's a matter of intelligence, how to use time.
Yes, Maharaj.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you. My light is off actually. Sorry for the inconvenience, Maharaj.
No problem. Hare Krishna. I hope everything's okay.
Maharaj, actually, I'm living in very simple living actually mentality. But there is a necessary 10 to 12 hours of working duty. So in 6 hours, it is very difficult me for to keep continue in Krishna consciousness. Actually, I can't go ISKCON temple regularly. I can't do activities, extra activities, nothings. Before in ISKCON base, I actually living. Then I will do so much activities, so much very close to temple, but it is very difficult for me, Maharaj. Please bless me so I can manage my time actually, Maharaj.
Okay. Best wishes.
Yes, Maharaj. And Maharaj, last year you come to India, but I can't serve you as I want actually. Plus I have a very big desire to serve you, Maharaj. Then how can you serve you in your Indian Jatra, Maharaj, when you come to Ujjain?
Yeah, just be there.
Okay, Maharaj.
September, I'll be there the whole month of September of this year in Ujjain. So just come September. Mhm.
Yes, Maharaj. Today, 2 year day actually, His Holiness Bhakti Prince Swami Maharaj actually come to Puri to take darshan of Jagannath at Snan Yatra. I also seek Maharaj to give me some seva so that I can do any duty of my Guru Maharaj or any. Yeah, then he granted me. Please bless me, Maharaj, and please grant me to serve you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhu. Thank you very much. Nice questions. Amritanam Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, humble obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. So Guru Maharaj, a simple question, but I always wonder, can we completely get fearless staying in this material world?
Fearlessness.
Yes, completely fearless in this material world. Is it possible?
Yeah. When you come to the realization you're not this body, not just theoretical, but when you realize it. And when you realize whatever happens to the body doesn't happen to you. The body is important because it's where we live. It's like your house. You take care of your house because you live in the house, but you're not the house. The house may be destroyed by an earthquake, but you're different than the house. So we're different than the body. In the very first 3 verses in the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna mentions the qualities of the saintly persons, and one is fearlessness. Fearlessness. Go to that verse. See if there's any explanation of fearlessness in there. It's 16th chapter, the first 3 verses. Some of the qualities are listed, and some of them are explained. Fearlessness. Nice to see what it is in practicality. Yeah, so let's see, where is it mentioned? First read from it, yeah. You'll see fearlessness there somewhere. Where is it? Yeah, it's the first one. Okay, fearless. Krishna says fearlessness first. Okay, let's go down the page and see if there's any explanations. Hmm. Mhm. For a sannyasi, the first qualification should be fearlessness because the sannyasi has to be alone without any support or guarantee to support. He has to simply depend on the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If one thinks, after I leave my connections, who will protect me? He should not accept the renounced soul of life. One must be fully convinced that Krishna, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his localized aspect, is always within, that he is seeing everything, he is always knows what one intends to do. One must have firm conviction that Krishna, as Paramatma, will take care of a soul surrendered to him. I shall never be alone, one should think. Even if I live in the darkness regions of the forest, I shall be accompanied by Krishna. He will give me all protection. That conviction is called abhayam, fearlessness. This state of mind is necessary for a person in the renounced state of life. So, yeah, it gives you a little indication. It's not just relegated to the sannyasa order. Everyone can develop fearlessness. That means that Krishna will take care of me in any situation. I have nothing to fear as long as I'm engaged in his devotional service. You have to develop that consciousness that comes by working working fully to serve Krishna.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. I hope I get a chance to completely dedicate my all time to Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Maharaj, there are a few questions in the chat. First questions from Nashinga Leela Mataji. She's saying, Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj, you spoke about 4 things to remember and to forget. I have a question indirectly connected to that. A devotee may be eager to serve and to connect deeper with others, but sometimes it happens that others see the eagerness of that person and they call only when they need something. So, what should be the mentality of a person who is eager to serve and finds himself in such a situation if that happens regularly?
What is she saying? That they're eager to serve, but some people are not eager to accept? Is that it?
I think her question is that there is eagerness to serve, but people are using that whenever they are really needing, more of in kind of a selfish motive. So how this devotee should take care of that?
Go serve somebody else. If they're using you for your service, then there's so many people you can serve. Why serve someone who's taking advantage of you? That means they're not appreciating any of it. And that means they're taking your service in a material way for some material gain. It's not about bhakti. You can choose where you can place your service in terms of individuals. Someone's taking advantage of you, then don't let them take advantage of you. If you allow someone to take advantage of you and you complain about it, then what's the use of you complaining? It's your fault and you let them do it.
She is saying, thank you, Guru Maharaj. This is really helpful. Maharaj, there is another question on chat from Deron Prabhu. He's asking, how can I gently prepare my only son who is deeply attached to his parents or the reality of my eventual passing, so that he can process it in a healthy way and not become emotionally stuck or bound by that attachment. I teach him the scriptures and maintain morning and evening devotion so he can develop his own relationship with God. Is there anything else I can do?
Sounds like it's sufficient. The more he learns about the process of bhakti, the more he will understand the principles that govern life in general, which means things are temporary. But if he develops attachment for his parents, that's good. That's wanted. That's necessary. It'll be good for him because his parents are leading him in the right direction, and that attachment will lead him in the right direction. So that's very much wanted. And at the same time, you teach him Krishna consciousness. Teach him how to chant. Teach him how to serve. Little young people like to serve. Sometimes, if you give them something to do, they like it. That's good.
Thank you, Maharaj. Darren Prabhu, I hope it's okay with you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Haribol, Darren. Nice you could join us.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm enjoying the Sriram Bhagavatam. It's amazing.
Yeah, stay with it and you'll get continual amazement. It's always amazing.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Maharaj. So, Maharaj, there is no any further questions. We are already 17 minutes over. Devotee, if you have any last questions or comments you would like to discuss.
Okay, looks like that's it.
Yeah. So, thank you, Maharaj, for your nice association. Shrimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anant Koti Vaishnav Brind ki jai.
Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Haribol.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj, for the nice lecture. Hare
Thank you, Guru
Krishna.
Maharaj.
Thank you,
Hare
Guru
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you, Shri Maharaj.
Thank you.
Give us your mercy.
Thank you, Guru
Bless
Maharaj.
us.
Hare Krishna from all three of us, Kalyan Prabhu, Ranjan Prabhu, and myself. We are heading to Columbus now.
Jai.
Haribo.
Remember what I wrote to you in the letter.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Lord Chaitanya all the way.
Okay.
Haribol. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hari. Thank you very much. We'll see you all tomorrow.
Thank you. Haribo.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Yeah.
Thank
Hare Krishna.